Omnissiah be praised, we're back with another Warhammer 40k reaction, this one from Mechanicus, which I was given the full context from Dr. Physics from my executive producers, who is the one who requested all this, and they clarified what game this is, why it is, what theme this is supposed to be for. So this is Children of the Omnissiah, and I guess without further ado, let's go! A much softer start than I thought. Lots of low end. Lots of low end. God, that's not sub bass. That's like center of the earth bass. That's down there. I'm still very surprised how, I guess, soft this is. A little like kind of chromatic stuff that was happening on the organ is kind of the only like lead, I guess, we're getting aside from the vocals, if you want to count those as a melody. Very interesting for a theme. Very interesting. I was totally expecting it to be more like pronounced as like a theme of a whole group, you know? You know, for a bunch of techno priests that are like extreme zealots, this totally fits. But again, I was kind of expecting it to be more energetic for some reason. I don't know why I was expecting that. It's just something that I've come to expect out of games in general, but thematically, yeah, this totally fits the vibe entirely. I don't know why I was expecting anything else. I think it's just maybe how truly soft and paced it was. There wasn't any sense of like urgency to it at all, but again, they're tech priests. Like, why would I be expecting that? This is something that does happen sometimes when I go in with just like the prior songs I listened to in the game, and I'm like, oh, there's gonna be, you know, this level of like intensity to it, and that doesn't always happen, and I just get myself the wrong idea going into it. But again, thematically, for what these characters are and why they are, this theme totally tracks, and I like the energy of it. It's like so relaxed that just the sub bass is kind of holding most of the like ground of the song, as it should, but there's not too much going on elsewhere either. Everything is kind of doing its own thing, so it's hard to pinpoint exactly which ones I would talk about. Like, the vocals are probably the closest thing to a melody in this song. There really isn't too much else going on there. There is the organ there, but that, again, it's kind of just doing like arpeggio stuff, just kind of going around up and down scales chromatically, not really sticking to anything particularly as far as a melody goes. And that's largely it, aside from just very atmospheric tones going through. So that's a really cool musical approach. But also, how am I supposed to talk about that in music theory? I don't really know exactly what to parse from that when it gets down to the more technical side of things. As far as like the sub bass and how they're handling the mixing and mastering of this, fucking baller. I love how low that was. Really gives you that sinking feeling, and you're just like, God, like the bass itself constantly moving up and down and keeping that activity in the song is a great choice. And it's a choice that also makes me kind of wonder where exactly this would be played. I know it's like the theme for this group of people, but at the same time, like, this feels specific to a location in a way. But maybe it's not. Maybe that's just to be there as the baseline floor for the rest of the stuff. And that constantly moving sub bass is just a byproduct of needing something to be there, at all, like on the low end. They could have done anything else, but they were like, you know what, let's throw in a sliding bass line, and that's kind of the best thing you can do in some cases. And for this, I think it's just more the impressiveness of how low it is and how much that resonates with the general atmosphere, all of the other reverb going on. Plenty of room in this song, so it just feels more intense that way, but not the intensity I was referring to earlier, or I'm like expecting energy to be on the song. But again, for these characters, and from what I know of the lore that I was told by Dr. Physics, this totally tracks with the personalities that would be around this song. People who are religious zealots, constantly dealing with their obsession over their religious beliefs and dealing with stuff like that. A song that's a little bit more like a Gothic Catholic sort of feel. Yeah, I mean, I've come to expect that out of these games anyway from the ones I've heard in other titles. But for this one, I just did not know what to expect because I don't think I've heard anything from this specific Warhammer game. So it's like, now I got to get a whole new read on this musical personality and how they decide to write for this one, because every other game I've heard is a little bit more of that intensity and leaning more into the situational like moment that they're dealing with instead of the character themes of like a group instead. It's just a different approach, especially given that this is a different genre than those other ones. It needs something else. And this fits. It's just not at all what I was expecting to be. But like I said, there's also not too much I can really say about this song. So I think I'm done here. This is probably a very short video. I would be surprised if this is over 8 minutes. So thank you for watching. Praise be the Omnissiah, I suppose. And if you have any other songs you want me to listen to from anything Warhammer related, drop them in the comments below and I will do my best as always to get to those. Or if you want to guarantee something, much like Dr. Physics did for this one, you can always go to my Patreon or my YouTube memberships, or you can force me to listen to something. It doesn't matter what it's from, who it's by, if it's good or bad. None of that matters. That's why it's a guarantee. If you don't want to do any of that though, and you just want to follow me and support me for more stuff coming in the future, you know how to do all that. And I'll see all of you in the next video. Goodbye!